Nir Kshetri is a professor at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro, USA. He has authored 12 books and about 200 academic articles. His books and articles have been translated into Arabic, Chinese, German, Spanish, French, Japanese, Portuguese, and other languages. He has been ranked among the world's top 0.03% researchers in the 2021 list of the world's top researchers by Stanford University. Nir's work has been featured by hundreds of media outlets such as Wall Street Journal, Foreign Policy, The Economist, Al Jazeera, Public Radio International, Scientific American, and Bloomberg TV. He has provided consulting services to the Asian Development Bank, the Commonwealth Secretariat, various UN agencies, and a number of private companies.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much again, Professor Hosseini, for the invitation. You already covered a lot of points about these blockchain networks, energy consumption, environmental impact, and I'll be mainly focusing on the different argumentation that different groups of people have given. So this is kind of related work about the presentation that I'm doing is forthcoming in the Computer magazine in the August issue with the editor-in-chief of IEEE Computer, Jeffrey Bosch. And so the title of the article that we have is Blockchain's Carbon and Environmental Footprint. And you already mentioned these things about the energy consumption of the Bitcoin network. And when I was writing the article in March 2022, when I checked the energy consumption, then that time it was 0.61% of the world's total electricity consumption. And so it depends, different point of time, different countries they give as the point of reference, and that time it was more than the total energy consumption by Ukraine or the country of Norway. So, and this is kind of, it is increasing every year, like the latest one, 2021 was 103.72 terawatt hour compared to only 0.09 terawatt hour in 2011. So exponentially increasing the energy consumption. And so there are a few things about blockchain, and I'll directly go to this one. So there are different groups. Some of them are crypto enthusiasts. They really like this cryptocurrency irrespective of what, and there are policy making agencies, and there are environmental activists, and there are consumers and different companies, depending on like what sector the companies are, maybe the banks or crypto companies, and they have different viewpoints about the environmental impact of cryptocurrencies. In some jurisdictions, some examples are China and Kosovo. These are the two jurisdictions that have completely banned Bitcoin mining activities. So in the case of China, we don't know the reason exactly. Maybe different argument is that the authoritarian regimes, such as those of China, do not really like this decentralized, any type of decentralized currencies like blockchain, or even decentralized fundraising methods, such as crowdfunding. But in China, basically high energy consumption and negative environmental impact is one of the reasons that China has given, and also Kosovo. In December 2021, Kosovo was importing about 40% of the total energy that the country was consuming, and it decided to ban all the crypto mining activities in January 2022. And also environmental activists in different parts of the world, especially here in the US state of New York, there are a lot of these environmental groups, and they have actively campaigned against environmentally most harmful activities, which are based on proof of work, those consensus mechanisms such as Bitcoin, and also they have lobbied for complete ban on such activities. And also underlying discourse, actor, and actions, if we focus on that regulatory scrutiny, it is getting a lot recently, and shortage of energy supplies. That is one of the main reasons behind the regulatory bans in many of the countries, and also adverse environmental impacts. And there have been many blackouts in several cities where tens of thousands of people did not have power in an extended period of time. And some countries include Iran, Kazakhstan, China, and Kosovo. And so regulatory actions were taken to reduce the adverse environmental impacts because of these concerns. And if you look at the underlying discourses and what exactly those different actors are saying regarding what they are doing for or against the different blockchain networks energy consumption. So if we go back to China again, where basically a lot of those crypto mining activities, Bitcoin mining activities actually took place in China until not long ago. And China prohibited financial institutions to engage in any crypto transaction in 2021. That means if you are a Chinese bank and you cannot really do any type of crypto transaction. That was the start in May 2021. And then June 2021, it banned cryptocurrency mining. And also one of the main reasons is that April 2021, there was a big accident in the Xinjiang province, which actually killed 22 people. And the mine was started without government permission to meet crypto server farms' power demand. So what was happening in China that time is, if you go to the mountainous areas of China, in the southern part of China, there are in the monsoon time, for example, June, July, August, September, there is a lot of water. They can use hydropower to mine Bitcoin. But in the dry season, there is no more hydropower, and they need this coal. And apparently, that's what they did. And so behind all these bans, this is one of the main reasons 22 people in Xinjiang were trapped in the coal mining, illegal coal mining. And another reason that China has given is that China has very ambitious environmental goals, and because of that, because of Bitcoin mining, China will not be able to meet the goals, and that is the argument that China has given. And also people's lives in danger, just the Xinjiang accident here in April 2020. So this is what the Chinese government is saying regarding why exactly they ban all these crypto mining activities. And if we go back, come here in the US, and after those Bitcoin mining activities were banned in China, all those equipment were exported in various other countries across the border, and Kazakhstan was one of the very popular destinations for kind of these Bitcoin mining activities. And actually, many of them were also started in the New York State. In New York State also, there was a lot of activism from different groups, and that's why in May 2021, a bill was introduced in the Senate, New York State Senate, to establish moratorium on cryptocurrency mining operations that rely on the proof of work authentication, such as Bitcoin. And in March 2022, that was more progress. The New York State Assembly Environmental Conservation Committee voted to pass the legislation. And recently, just in June 2022, the New York State Senate passed the bill. That means the proof of work algorithm, basically cryptocurrencies or blockchain that rely on a proof of work cannot be mined in the state of New York after the law was passed in June 2022. And if we go back to the European Union, that area, the European Central Bank and European Union have also taken a lot of actions. And so European Central Bank described in May 2021 as kind of big carbon footprint of crypto assets, and that is a ground for concern. That's what the European Central Bank was saying. And also European Union has these 27 different countries as member, and some of the member states are pressuring European Union to kind of take action to reduce the negative environmental impact of blockchain. And for example, in November 2021, the government of Sweden asked the European Union to ban energy-intensive crypto mining activities. So that's what's happening in the European Union area also. And also international developmental organizations such as the World Bank and International Monetary Fund have also raised concern about these kind of cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin. They have a lot of different argumentations. Other argumentations could be, for example, it is not easy to track all these cryptocurrency transactions, and they might fund terrorist activities, and all those things are different. But one of the argumentations that they give is also the environmental concern. For example, El Salvador in the kind of Central America here was one of the was the first country in the world to use Bitcoin as legal tender. Actually, there are only two countries in the world now, and the second is the Central African Republic in Africa. So El Salvador is kind of adopting using Bitcoin. They started in September 2021, and the law was passed in June 2021, and it is a legal tender. And so this is an article that I published in IEEE Computer in, I think, May 2020, a few months back. And so basically, in this argument, I have discussed a lot of things. The government of El Salvador is facing a lot of pressure from the US and especially International Monetary Fund and World Bank. Actually, the government is having a lot of budget deficit for a long time, and El Salvador depends on these international developmental organizations such as International Monetary Fund to support their budget deficit. And so the International Monetary Fund was supposed to give El Salvador 1.3 billion US dollar, because El Salvador doesn't have its own currency. They use US dollar. And because of that, they think that, and also a little bit thing about El Salvador is El Salvador uses US dollar, doesn't have its own currency. And the US government, the Federal Reserves here in the US really do not have any interest to make sure that El Salvador has enough supply of dollar to meet various needs, because it is not like one of the states like North Carolina, where I am, or even not like Puerto Rico, one of the kind of territories of the US. So basically, and that is the argument that El Salvador has given for the adoption of Bitcoin. But International Monetary Fund basically blocked the $1.3 billion it is supposed to give to El Salvador. That was one of the concerns. And it is actually asking El Salvador to reverse the Bitcoin law. That means reversing the Bitcoin law means not using Bitcoin as a legal tender. That means, so one of the concerns they have mentioned, including World Bank, is that many risks and environment, adverse consequence on environment is one of the things that international developmental organizations such as International Monetary Fund have kind of raised. And also, if we look at social and environmental activists, they are also playing very important role in explaining the adverse environmental impacts. And one example is the Sierra Club, and also there is Earth Justice. These are kind of environmental activists. And again, when all the crypto mining activities, they closed their shops in China and moved to New York. And so basically, they expressed the concern over the way crypto mining companies were operating in New York's industrial towns. And so there are huge computer farms, and the argument is that these computer farms increase greenhouse gas emissions, and also the state has the emission reduction goals and will not be able to meet the goal. And so also argument is that and one of the arguments that they give is that if the crypto mining activities use renewable energy sources, like the hydropower that I was mentioning in China earlier, that it's okay. But these groups are saying that even renewable energy sources is not justifiable, because, okay, we are producing a lot of electricity using hydropower that is renewable, but maybe other parts of the country, for example, may not be getting enough electricity. The renewable energy sources like the hydropower can be used to supply electricity that is in kind of not enough electricity in other parts of the country. That's what they are saying. And so basically, Bitcoin mining plants use more energy than most cities, and dependence of other areas on kind of fossil fuel powers and is one thing that they were saying. So basically, exporting those renewable energy to other jurisdictions outside New York or other cities can reduce this coal and other type of fuels, and that's what it is saying. So a local blogger, I think he was writing in the Syracuse Times, and big crypto mining firm draws more than 100 million gallons of water daily from Seneca Lake for cooling purposes. The water then would turn to a warmer level to trout stream tributary. So basically, this is Seneca Lake in New York, and what the blogger was saying in the Syracuse.com, the newspaper that he was writing is that water 100 million gallons of water is daily drawn from here, and the Bitcoin mining activities make it very warm, and it is released, and all the fishes would die actually because of that. That was the concern that he was raising in this one. And also there are environmental focused organizations, like they were actually, some of them were accepting, if you want to donate in Bitcoin, actually a lot of universities accept Bitcoin donation now, including I saw the University of Pennsylvania, and so they were getting a lot of Bitcoin donation. These environmental focused organizations also have been getting donations in cryptocurrency for a long time actually, and Greenpeace actually started accepting Bitcoin donation since 2014, and in 2021, because of these pressures from various groups. Okay, Greenpeace is here to conserve environment, not to destruct, and so that is the argument probably many people gave, and Greenpeace stopped accepting donation in cryptocurrency last year in 2021. And also another is the WWF UK, and WWF UK tried to raise money using non-fungible tokens, and it called the non-fungible animals, and there was a sad criticism from various conservative supporters, and actually WWF UK was forced to end the sales within less than 48 hours, and actually had to return the money of many people who had actually bought the non-fungible animals, which is the form of non-fungible token. So WWF UK actually argued that it was minting non-fungible tokens using Polygon, and so the argument is that Polygon doesn't use as much electricity, as much energy as Ethereum or Bitcoin, and so the NFT announcement, the argument given by WWF UK was that single transaction on Polygon produces only 0.207 gram of carbon dioxide, which is the same level as a pint of milk or half dozen eggs. And actually, and many people who actually can calculate the exact energy consumption pointed out that the WWF UK's calculation is wrong. So actually, many people calculated that, and this is if you just use the energy in Polygon, and actually if it is part of the Ethereum blockchain, and Ethereum blockchain has to provide security and all those things, and all those need to be calculated. And actually, Digiconomist calculated the carbon footprint, and Polygon transaction actually consumed not 0.207 gram as WWF UK was announcing. It was actually 430 gram of carbon dioxide, and that is 2,077 times higher. And if you just take the number of eggs, and WWF UK was saying half a dozen eggs, actually it was 12,600 eggs. And so that was the reason that WWF UK had to withdraw the kind of energy intensive non-fungible animals minting. On the other hand, WWF Germany is still raising money, and actually that was from WWF Germany, I think this was, and you can buy one of these non-fungible animals kind of paying money. And last time I checked, they already raised 272,000 euro about selling non-fungible animals, WWF Germany. And now we are looking at all these different arguments against this kind of high energy consumption by Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, especially that are based on the proof of work algorithms. Now, let's look at the defenders of Bitcoin and these cryptocurrency enthusiasts, what exactly they are saying. So basically, what they point out, the defenders of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, that Bitcoin's environmental impact is significant significantly lower than these financial and banking sectors. And these financial banking sectors have a lot of these data centers all over the world, and these data centers actually also consume a lot of electricity. And what they say is Bitcoin network uses less than half of the energy used by banking system, mainly in large data centers. And also they argue that currently, let's say 1.7 billion people in the world do not actually have any access to financial services. And these cryptocurrency supporters say that maybe cryptocurrencies are basically the systems that can be used to build the future of finance and make sure that everyone has access to these financial services. And also Galaxy Digital Mining has a calculation. And so also the report by Galaxy Digital Mining pointed out that only in the US, electricity lost in transmission and distribution is 2,205 terawatt hour. And if we compare Bitcoin's little more than 100 terawatt hour, it is 19.4 times more than Bitcoin network. So a lot of energy is kind of transmitted and lost in that way. And also only in the US households, there are all the devices like computers and televisions and all those, they're always on, and they actually consume 12.1 times that of Bitcoin network. So basically, okay, and if the cryptocurrencies are really doing something useful for the future, building the financial system and the electricity consumption, even the carbon footprint could be justifiable. That's what the defender of Bitcoin saying. So basically, based on these arguments, and there might be different consideration or factor that the Computer Magazine article that is coming in actually this month, August, will be published in a few days. And so we basically looked at that, and it depends what exactly you are doing. And these are some of the factors that basically determine whether it is good or not good to use cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. So what is the ultimate goal? Energy consumption could be more justifiable if they are used for valuable applications like but if you are just spending $1 million to buy monkey pictures like NFTs, that may not be really a useful thing, because actually one NFT, depending on the calculation, many people have calculation, and so I basically looked at one of the calculations that, let me see if it is here. So basically I have here okay, I'll come back to that later. So basically it depends on the goal, and buying $1 million monkey as an NFT, which consumes a lot of many hundreds of kilowatt hour of energy for each transaction may not be good, but there might be some better uses like securing property titles. And this is an article that I recently wrote in the Third World Quarterly. In the Andhra Pradesh state of India, they have a project, and not progressing very well, but this project is basically using blockchain to record all the land-related documentations, because in India, actually, if you go to the Indian court, more than 2/3 of all the cases are related to land disputes, and also it is about $700 million is how much they bribe these government officials in land-related transactions every year. So that is one of the secure ways of kind of storing the records and making sure that in the future there is no fraud, no bribe and no corruption. And so if they are doing that, probably this is a good use. We don't really have to care a lot about the negative environmental thing. And anyways, we do a lot of other things to destroy the environment, and that may be one thing. What is the ultimate goal of blockchain use? And also phase and types of blockchain transaction. And some phases require a lot of electricity. And if you look at the Bitcoin, actually, mining Bitcoin consumes most of the electricity, and after the Bitcoin is already mined, and just transferring from one account to another account doesn't consume that much electricity. That is another thing to consider. And so basically, even for the non-fungible tokens, minting takes most of the energy compared to other things, rather than transferring the ownership. For example, this is the energy consumption across various phases of transaction, and in the case of Bitcoin mining. And if you look at the NFT, and I don't know myself how to do the calculation, the energy consumption, but this memo Acten did an analysis, and what it's saying is that typical transaction of non-fungible token consumes 340 kilowatt hour, and so minting is the most, 142 kilowatt hour. And so if it is already minted, people have to bid that, and they might have to cancel the bid that, and someone has to buy that, and that means they have to sell that, and they have to transfer the ownership. So already minted non-fungible token, and transferring and bidding and canceling may not really consume that much energy, and so that means there are less negative environmental impact. So that is another thing, phases and type of blockchain transactions. And okay, the source of energy used, and using coal to mine those Bitcoin may not be a good idea. Renewable energy are more justified, although environmental activists say renewable energy is not good too. And for example, there is the Canadian company Hive. It claims that it uses renewable energy to mine all Bitcoin and Ether. And so also where blockchain applications are carried out, and unlike other activities, like if you have to do most of the other activities like a factory, running a factory, we cannot really use electricity that is generated in Siberia to run a factory here in the US. That is not possible because electricity bringing from Siberia to here is not basically practical. But that is not the case of blockchain. You can basically mine Bitcoin in any part of the world. You can mint non-fungible token in any part of the world. And okay, if there is excess energy in some part of the world, excess electricity, why not to use that? That they will go waste anyways. And actually, before Bitcoin was banned in China, that's what the Chinese miners used to do. They basically did all the things. In the mountainous region, there was a lot of things, and also a type of blockchain use, of course, and there is a proof of stake type of blockchain. They do not consume that much energy, and for example, one of the music platform for minting non-fungible token uses Tezos blockchain, and that is basically not a lot of things. And so this is electric consumption of different blockchains that they calculated, annual electricity consumption from different sources, Bitcoin, Ethereum. But if you go to other things, like I think one of these was saying that minting blockchain in Tezos is, for example, just doing a Google search, same amount of energy is how much consumed. And so type of blockchain. So basically, cryptocurrency's high energy consumption is kind of one of the reasons why it is facing a lot of regulatory scrutiny all over the world, especially in some jurisdictions such as China and Kosovo. They are already banned, and so activists are also playing important role. And energy efficient blockchain, which run on proof of stake, do not consume that much electricity. But if you really talk with these blockchain experts, they say that they are not even blockchain. So basically, if you really want to use decentralized blockchain that has all the features, that's what proof of work. But proof of stake is okay, less energy consumption, energy efficient, but it doesn't satisfy the thing that blockchain was originally created for. And so high energy, justifiable or not, depends on a lot of things, and that is a question of value actually. So do you really spend $1 million to buy an NFT which consumes 340 kilowatt hour? Is a question of value. Different people have different viewpoints. And so tool to build the financial system of the future, fight the capital establishment, that's what they give argument, and that is justifiable. But there are a lot of people who think that Bitcoin is fraud, or they even think that Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme, and for them, energy consumption is an unnecessary waste. That's it. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll be happy to take any questions about the thing.